Hi everyone, Garden Q&A today. I asked over on the YouTube post tab, how many of you have questions? What are you struggling with your gardens in August? Today I'm answering those questions along with some CaliKim hacks that will save you time and space in your garden. Keep it thriving from now, late summer, on into fall. Let's get to it. First question comes from DK4436, and her question is, do you think some gardeners overdo it when it comes to tomato plants? Some gardeners say to remove the armpits off tomato plants and cut off all unnecessary leaves to the point where the plant looks so bare. I've seen other gardeners who don't tamper with plants and just clean off the base plant and it's thriving. I leave everything the way it is and don't tamper too much, but only clean bottom and remove diseased parts. I hope I'm doing it right. DK, this is the great tomato pruning debate that's gone on for years. Some gardeners prune the heck out of their plants so it looks like it has a buzz cut and it's super bare. Prune out all the suckers, all the leaves, and the main reason for this is to manage the space if you're growing a lot of tomatoes in a small space. Some gardeners just let it grow wild and don't prune it at all. My general rule of thumb lands somewhere in the middle. I do prune the bottom 6 inches of the tomato plants, mainly for airflow, and this really helps with disease, so the water's not splashing from the soil to the plant and spreading pathogens onto the plant. I am kind of selectively pruning the suckers out this season, which is a big change from how I did it last season, because I found when I prune all the suckers out, I don't really get that many tomatoes. So this year I kind of selectively pruned the suckers. Depending on if branches were hanging way over outgrowing the space, I would prune those off, but I let a lot to grow and I've had way more tomatoes this season. I mean, you can see here how amazing these tomatoes are doing. And a little CaliKim hack here, if you've got rodents in your garden, cover them with these net bags to protect them from the rodents. We've had a lot of success with this. It's no surefire bet, but it definitely does help protect them. And what I like to do also is double bag them. I've got one bag kind of very loosely tied around the tomato. The rats will actually climb on top of this, and then because this is a deterrent, they don't continue chewing through the second bag and leave the tomato intact. The bottom line is, it's really a personal choice. So you might want to try both ways, see which works best for you for the time and the space you have available. EK, you asked, I answered. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you. This question comes from Artsy897. As the weather gets chillier, I'm wondering, how long will my tomatoes be okay? Does covering them work? Or do I even need to pull the whole plant and bring it inside and let the fruit ripen? We're going into the 40s next week. Okay, Artsy, you're not alone with this question. As the temperatures start to dip down into the 40s, tomato ripening definitely slows down. That's because cooler weather inhibits the ethylene gas, which is the natural ripening hormone that helps tomatoes ripen faster. So, what you can do, number one, is keep an eye on the weather. And when the weather gets closer to your first frost date and it gets down into the 40s, pick your tomatoes off the vine, even if they're green, and bring them inside the house to ripen. This is a little CaliKim hack in case you have squirrels and rats eating your tomatoes too. Pick them at first blush, bring them inside, put them in a paper bag, or in a cardboard box layered between layers of newspaper. And because you're containing the ethylene gas, it will help ripen your tomatoes faster. Or another CaliKim hack that I used to do as a kid was, if you're getting a frost that night, pull up the entire tomato plant, roots and all. I know it can be a bit of an effort, and we always hung them upside down in our basement to ripen during the winter time, and then we would go down and pick ripe tomatoes in the basement, and it was really fun. So let me know which one of these hacks you try, Artsy, to ripen your tomatoes during the cold season. Forget, you can use green tomatoes too. Just fry them in a pan for fried green tomatoes, or chop and blend for a fresh, tangy tomato salsa verde, or you can even pickle them for a tangy crunch. Let me know which one you try. I'm getting a lot of great questions, so thank you so much for asking them. Now, if I don't get to your question today, please tune in on Monday at noon Pacific time for our YouTube live stream, and I'll answer a lot more then. Now, our next question comes from Nat Kakuna. Nat's question is, my intention is to make my own raised bed. Is cedar wood good to use? I've created one already out of an old barbecue and painted it. I'm happy to say, since I started my little garden, my creative juices are bubbling over. Thank you for the videos and the vibe, and blessings. Now, Nat Kakuna, this is a really good question because a lot of gardeners ask me, What is the best material to build for your raised beds? Now here with my raised bed, I primarily build them out of Douglas fir because it's very cost effective. But cedar is a great choice. It's just very, very pricey. One of the best things about cedar is it's naturally rot resistant. So the beds can last you from 8 to 10 years as opposed to 3 to 5 years for Douglas fir or pine, or it can extend even longer if you live in a dry climate. Another huge benefit of cedar is that it's a natural pest repellent. So in other words, you're not going to get insects infesting your cedar raised bed as often as you would your Douglas fir or your pine. But the downside is it's very, very pricey. So if you have the money to make an investment into that, you're going to build it once, they'll probably last you forever. And the good news is you'll be harvesting way before your wood rots, even if you're building out of Douglas fir and pine. CaliKim garden hack: if you do use Douglas fir or pine, make sure to line it with heavy duty landscape fabric or with food grade plastic to extend the life of the wood. But make sure you poke plenty of holes in the bottom for drainage. Now I do want to say, Nat, really good job on using your creative juices in the garden. Repurposing old items are a great way to add that personal touch to your garden. So thumbs up to you. Little bonus CaliKim garden hack. It's going to be triple digits this week and the highest temperatures are today. So we have the whole garden covered in shade cloth, which keeps everything 10 to 15 degrees cooler underneath and protects my plants from dying in the heat. Now, lucky for you, I've been asked this question so many times over the past years, and in my book on raised bed gardening, I put a whole section in here on what are the best materials to use for raised beds. That way you have all the pros and cons of each, and you can make the best decision that works for you. Next up is bark purr with a sunflower question. When the sunflower is completely dry and is tan in color, do you cut off and plant the whole thing in the ground now and it will regrow in the spring, or do you just keep the whole dried flower in a paper bag and use the seeds next year? First of all, bark purr, huge win for growing your sunflower all the way to the stage where you can save the seeds. Now I'll show you a couple of things that I do. Here in Southern California, where we don't get frost, what I like to do is just cut the sunflower head once it's completely dry, and you can see here how dry and crispy it is. So just cut the head off and then kind of rub my fingers over the head, and look how easily the seeds pop out. I don't put the whole head in the ground. I do this and then I just sprinkle the seeds over the ground. Either I'll get new sunflowers if it's still warm enough, or the seeds will actually overwinter in the ground and pop up next spring as soon as it gets warm. Now, if you live in a climate where you get frost though, most likely the seeds will rot in the ground over the winter time because it's just too cold for them. So what I do as an alternative to that, let me find another really dry head here. Way up here, there's lots of ants here, but hopefully the birds haven't gotten all these seeds. Clip it off. And then an easy way to remove the seeds, got ants all over me, is to put the head in a paper bag, close up the paper bag, shake it up to easily remove the seeds. It took me about 5 seconds to get all those seeds out. And then you can pop these in a plastic bag as long as they're completely dry, and then save them to next year. Now, little CaliKim hack here, what I also like to do to save my seeds for the birds, or actually put my seeds out for the birds, is I cut off the dried sunflower heads and then just run my fingers over the heads. The seeds pop out and you've got instant free bird food here. It gives them some food to eat and helps keep them off my tomatoes. Next question comes from Dawn in the mountains, and I bet you can't guess where she lives. Dawn's question is, are there maybe 3 to 5 veggies I can start outside now in the 70s for high temps that are 60 days or less to harvest? First of all, Dawn, you're so lucky that you're only in the mid 70s. We're cooking it out here in California in the triple digits. Now, you are actually in the sweet spot for fall planting because fall vegetables love temperatures under 75 degrees. So your best bets for quick hits are some greens, herbs, and fast-growing warm weather vegetables. Now, I highly recommend that you plant some arugula. It's super, super fast-growing. Along with mustard greens, it's one of the fastest greens ever to grow. These were just planted a couple of weeks ago, and then you can harvest them as baby greens in probably 30 days, or let them go to full size, in about 60 days. Arugula, mustard greens, and lettuces will be your best friend now. But I would also get some herbs going. Now, the great thing about herbs is you can start them from seed indoors, like the cilantro here, or even direct seed them right out in your garden right now. So cilantro is a great one. Dill is a good, fast-growing, cool weather herb. And then what you can do also, so you have double duty harvest, is you can also plant some in little containers, keep them outside, and then as the weather gets cooler, you can actually bring them indoors, put them in a sunny window or under a grow light, and then you will have fresh herbs all winter long. Now, I would also go with some quick hit warm weather vegetables. And a lot of these veggies I've actually put in my late summer garden seed collection and in my fall garden seed collection. So you can grab those and get those going. But beans are a great one to plant late in the summer. Here I've got some edamame beans. So if you're sick and tired of regular old green beans, plant some edamame and you can boil these and salt them for a nice, quick, healthy snack. And of course, you guessed it, I've got a CaliKim hack for you here too. What you want to do is go back and watch my pull or swap video and look at my raised bed shuffle hack. You can actually pull out your old summer crops and then tuck in quick growing crops like your radishes, your greens, your herbs. So you're getting multiple harvests out of one bed, and that your beds never sit empty and are always giving you something to harvest. And you'll also want to check out our What to Plant in August video for more ideas on what you can plant this month to get your fall garden going now. Thanks so much for your question, Don. Hope this helps. Let me know what you're going to plant. Thanks to everyone who asked a question over on the post page. And if we didn't get to your question today, don't forget to join us for our Monday Live at noon Pacific time. And if you haven't visited the post page yet, here's how you get to it. We'd love to see you over there. Just go to my main channel page by clicking on my avatar. You'll see a list of tabs across the top, videos, live, etc. And there's one called posts. Click on that and there you'll see the post page. Now over there, we give you previews of coming videos, answer your questions, and ask you questions about what type of content you'd like to see. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time in the garden.